It's the Great Depression. Imagine this. You check the stock market, you're rich. You go to lunch, you come back, you're broke. October 1929, billions gone in hours. And then the banks. 9,000 of them just vanished. Not closed, vanished. Your bank, my bank, everyone's bank, just gone. Now here's the insane part. Nobody saw it coming. Well, one guy did. Wall Street told him to shut up.
Bruh.
So buckle up, because this story is, it's darker than you think.
Chapter 1. The Party Nobody Wanted to Leave. So let's rewind. 1922. World War I just ended. The guns are silent. The soldiers are home. And America is about to have the best decade of its life. Factories that used to make tanks are now making toasters, refrigerators, vacuum cleaners, stuff that makes life easier. And people are buying it all. The economy isn't just growing, it's exploding. Henry Ford figures out how to build a car in 90 minutes. It used to take 12 hours. The Model T drops from $780 to $290. Suddenly, everyone can afford one. By 1927, 15 million Model Ts are on the road. America is moving. It's the same rush we're feeling right now with AI. Work that took 12 days, done in 90 minutes. Productivity explodes. Everyone's a genius. And just like in the 1920s, everyone's convinced this time is different. This boom won't crash. Spoiler, it always does.
Anyway, back to 1927. When cars are everywhere, you need roads, gas stations, rubber for tires, steel for frames, oil for engines. One industry pulls up 10 others. It's a machine. Cities are transforming. Electricity spreads like wildfire. By 1929, 10 million American homes have radios. That's 10 million families listening to jazz, news, and commercials for soap they don't need, but suddenly want. And here's where it gets interesting. Americans discover a new hobby: buying things they can't afford. Want a radio? Finance it. A car? Put it on credit. It's the birth of buy now, pay later. Banks are handing out loans like candy. Nobody's asking if you can actually pay it back. Why would they? The economy only goes up, right? But the real party is happening on Wall Street. The stock market becomes a casino, except everyone's winning. You can buy $100 worth of stock with just $10 down, sometimes less. The other $90? Borrowed. It's called margin buying, and it's genius until it isn't. Here's the crazy part. Everyone's doing it. Your barber, your mailman, the guy who shines the shoes. Everyone thinks they're a financial wizard. Hey kid, you should invest in utilities. I made a fortune. Sir, you're still cutting hair for a living. Yeah, but spiritually I'm rich.
Bruh.
Between 1924 and 1929, stock prices go up 6 times. 6? Companies aren't making 6 times more money. Their stock just keeps going up because it went up yesterday. By 1929, 40% of all consumer debt in America is being used to buy stocks. Not houses, not businesses, stocks. Some companies don't even make anything. They're holding companies that own other holding companies. It's just paper owning paper. But the stock is soaring. Now here's what nobody's talking about. By the mid-1920s, the economy is actually slowing down. Europe is still broke from the war. They can't buy American products. Demand is falling. Factories are making less. But Wall Street doesn't care about reality. A few smart people try to warn everyone. The economist Roger Babson stands up in 1929 and says, "A crash is coming." Wall Street laughs at him, buys more stock. The party's too good to stop. Meanwhile, farmers are drowning in debt. Consumer debt is ballooning.
The cracks are everywhere, but nobody's looking at cracks. They're looking at their portfolios. It's 1929. The Dow Jones is at an all-time high. Everyone's rich, or at least they feel rich. And that feeling, that's the most dangerous drug in the world. Because in about 6 months, the floor is going to disappear. And when it does, it won't just take the stock market down. It'll take everything. Chapter 2. The Fall That Broke America. October 24th, 1929, Black Thursday. The stock market doesn't fall, it collapses. 12.9 million shares sold in one day. Record-breaking panic. The ticker tape can't keep up. It's spitting out numbers hours late. By the time you see your stock price, it's already worse. Traders are screaming, phones ringing non-stop. Grown men in suits just standing there, frozen. One guy reportedly faints, wakes up, checks his portfolio, and faints again. The Dow drops 11% in a single day. But here's the thing. People think it's just a bad day, a hiccup. The market's done this before, right? It'll bounce back. It doesn't. The following Tuesday, October 29th, Black Tuesday, the market falls another 12%. 16.4 million shares sold. That's a record that'll stand for decades, not because it's impressive, because it's terrifying.
In 2 weeks, the stock market loses a third of its value. A third. Gone. Remember those margin loans? The ones where you put $10 down and borrowed $90? Yeah, the banks want that $90 back. Now, it's called a margin call, and people don't have it. Millionaires on Monday are bankrupt by Thursday. Life savings vanished. College funds gone. Retirement plans? What retirement plans? Outside the New York Stock Exchange, crowds gather, silent. Some are crying, others just stare at the building like it personally betrayed them, which it kind of did. But here's what nobody realizes yet. The crash isn't the problem, it's the trigger. Because the banks, oh, the banks. These grand institutions with marble floors and oak desks, pillars of trust. Turns out they've been lending money to everyone, for everything, especially stocks. And now, nobody can pay them back. So the banks start to wobble. By 1930, small banks are closing every week, then every day. People hear about one bank closing and immediately run to theirs. Not walk, run. It's called a bank run, and it's chaos. Crowds surge outside branches, banging on doors, screaming for their money. Inside, tellers try to stay calm. Your money is safe, completely safe. It was not safe. See, banks don't keep all your money in a vault. They lend it out. That's how banking works. So when everyone shows up at once asking for their cash, the bank doesn't have it. Doors lock. Lights go off. Your savings? Gone. And here's the nightmare. Even healthy banks collapse. Because once people panic, it doesn't matter if your bank is fine. Fear spreads faster than facts. In New York, a rumor starts that the Bank of the United States is refusing to sell someone's stock. It's not even true. But 25,000 people show up anyway. By the end of the day, $3 million withdrawn. The bank closes. It accounts for a third of all deposits lost in the entire Depression. One bank, one rumor. Between 1930 and 1933, over 9,000 American banks fail. 9,000. Your local bank, your neighbor's bank, everyone's bank, just gone. And remember, there's no FDIC yet, no deposit insurance. If your bank closes, you lose everything. But the disaster doesn't stay in America. U.S. banks, panicking and desperate, call in their loans from Europe. And Europe, still duct-taped together from World War I. Barely recovering, Germany's economy collapses. Britain stumbles. Global trade freezes. Then President Hoover makes it worse. In 1930, He signs the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act. It raises taxes on foreign goods by 20%. The idea? Protect American businesses. The result? 25 countries retaliate. They slap tariffs on American products. Global trade falls 66% between 1929 and 1934. 66%. The world isn't just in a recession anymore, it's in free fall. Meanwhile, newspapers try to stay optimistic. Headlines read, "Market adjusts, investors take profits." Right below, a photo of a man selling his wedding ring to buy bread. President Hoover goes on the radio, calm, presidential. The economy is fundamentally sound. Millions of Americans sit at empty dinner tables and wonder what the hell he's talking about. But here's the cruelest part. People still believe it'll get better. It has to, right? America doesn't just break. Except it does. Crash was just the beginning. The banks failing, that's the accelerator. And what's coming next? That's when America stops being a country and starts being a graveyard of dreams. Chapter 3. When the banks said goodbye. By 1931, the panic isn't slowing down. It's spreading like a virus. Every week, another bank closes, then another. People stop trusting the system entirely. And when trust dies, the whole thing collapses. Here's how bad it gets. People start hoarding cash under mattresses, in jars, buried in the backyard, anywhere but a bank. "Hey Joe, I finally sold my car. Got some cash to pay you back. Which bank are you with?" "Bank? Are you insane? I'm not putting my money in a bank. That's how you lose money." And when everyone pulls their money out, something terrifying happens. The money supply shrinks. Between 1929 and 1933, the total amount of money circulating in America drops by 31%. 31% of all money just disappears. And that creates deflation, which sounds good, right? Things get cheaper. Except it's a nightmare, because when money becomes more valuable, people stop spending. Why buy today when it'll be cheaper tomorrow? Businesses can't sell anything, so they fire workers. Wages fall. Debt becomes impossible to pay. It's a death spiral. And through all of this, the Federal Reserve just watches. They do nothing. No intervention, no emergency loans, no bailouts. It's one of the biggest mistakes in American economic history. And it turns a bad recession into the Great Depression. Meanwhile, President Hoover is trying. He really is. He launches the Hoover Dam, an engineering marvel. He encourages volunteerism, asks businesses to keep workers employed. But it's not enough, not even close. He refuses large-scale federal aid, says it's dangerous, un-American. People should pull themselves up by their bootstraps. But what if you can't afford boots? His name becomes a joke, a cruel one. Shanty towns made of scrap metal and cardboard, Hoovervilles. Newspapers used as blankets, Hoover blankets. Empty pockets turned inside out, Hoover flags. His legacy isn't just dams and engineering. It's hunger, cold, dust. By 1932, the banking system is barely functioning. People don't trust it. Businesses can't get loans. The economy is in cardiac arrest. And then comes the final humiliation. Summer 1932, thousands of World War I veterans marched to Washington. They're called the Bonus Army. They fought for America, bled for America, and now they're starving. They'd been promised bonuses for their service, but the payments aren't due for years. They need them now. So they build a tent city outside the Capitol. Peaceful, hopeful, waiting. Congress votes. The answer? No. Hoover orders them to leave. They don't. So the army is sent in. The actual U.S. Army, led by General Douglas MacArthur. Tear gas, bayonets, fires, families running through smoke. America just used its military against its own war heroes. The country watches in horror, not just at what happened, but at what they've become. And the banks? They're still failing. By 1933, over 9,000 are gone. That's nearly a third of all American banks, wiped out. 9 million savings accounts destroyed. Life savings, gone. College funds, gone. Any sense of financial security? Gone. People line up outside shuttered banks, holding withdrawal slips that mean nothing. The doors are locked, the lights are off, and inside, nothing. Just empty vaults and broken promises.
Trust in the system isn't just damaged, it's obliterated. And here's the thing. This isn't just an American problem anymore. It's global. When U.S. banks called in their European loans, it triggered collapses across the continent. Germany's economy implodes. Austria's banking system fails. Britain abandons the gold standard. The world economy isn't just connected, it's contagious. And America is patient zero. By 1933, the banking crisis has destroyed the foundation of the economy. No loans, no credit, no trust, no future. The crash took people's money, but the banking collapse, that took their hope. And when you take away hope, what's left is just survival. Which is exactly what Chapter 4 is about.
So let's recap where we are. The stock market crashed. Fortunes vanished overnight. Then came the real disaster. 9 million savings accounts destroyed. America isn't just broke, it's starving. 1 in 4 people can't find work. Dust buries entire regions. Breadlines stretch for blocks. Children faint from hunger. The country is dying. And then, a man in a wheelchair rolls up to a microphone with a radical plan. In Part 2, how one man saved America.